All right, let's talk about this men's indoor 60 meter dash. And I'm really interested to see who's actually going to be running throughout the 2025 indoor season, as it's a long season. Check out the video I just did not too long ago, a couple months ago, about, the 2025 season, how, Worlds at the end of the year in September, you got World Indoors, World Relays. But we're starting to see some names kind of like dip their toes and, throw their hat into the indoor season. But I don't know who's actually going to really follow through and go all the way to World Indoors. Now, most notably, we did just see Marcell Jacobs. He was announced to be running the 60 meters at the New Balance Indoor Grand Prix. That's going to be on February 2nd in Boston. That's one of my favorite meets on the calendar. Amazing meet, amazing venue. If you've never been up there, definitely encourage you if you ever get a chance to check it out. Rai Benjamin's announced, Jessica Hull, Grant Fisher, Georgia Bell. There's a lot of athletes who were recently announced. But more specifically, he's going to be running against Noah Lyles in the 60 meter dash. What I love about this is the fact that Marcell Jacobs, 2022 World Indoor Champion in the 60 meter dash. He beat out Christian Coleman there. He beat out Marvin Bracey there. Noah Lyles, he's of course a silver medalist from 2024 last year in the 60 meter dash indoors. And they're going to be going head to head here. I love that Marcell Jacobs is dipping his toes back indoors, right? He didn't compete last year because of, he was dealing with, significant injuries all throughout 2023. 2022 as well as 2024, kind of getting back into things after getting fifth place at the Olympic Games. Now indoors in the 60 meters, I think he's really going to be showing up and maybe going for that world indoor title once again. Again, remember, he's healthy. He's coming off a very, very successful 2024 outdoor season. Yes, he didn't get onto the podium. Yes, he didn't get a medal. He didn't win gold. He didn't defend his title. But I think for him to run 9.85 seconds, his third fastest time of his entire career, to get fifth place in the deepest 100-meter final in history, right, in any 100-meter race that we've ever seen, I think that really shows that he wants more. He is back at his healthy self and he wants more. This is going to be a good test to see how he kind of, progresses throughout the 2025 season. And going up against Noah Lyles, someone who we all know is going to be putting his best foot forward. We all know that when he steps on the track, he doesn't want to lose. Yes, he's of course not the best 60-meter runner, but we've seen him improve year after year. And Noah, to be able to get that silver medal last year at the World Indoors, he's going to want, a good head-to-head against Marcell Jacobs. I wouldn't be surprised, this meet, this New Balance Indoor Grand Prix, this is Noah Lyles' agent's meet. So Noah Lyles always competes at this meet, whether it's years ago, he was running the 300, the 200, right? He's run a couple different, events here. Since then, he's been dropping down to the 60s. I wouldn't be surprised if he kind of maybe convinced someone like Marcell Jacobs to, throw his hat into the ring here at the New Balance Indoor Grand Prix, put his 60-meter dash chops on the line and, go head to head. We haven't seen Marcell Jacobs compete in the United States in the 60 meters. Again, back in 2022, when he won the 60-meter dash at the World Indoor Championships, he was training in Europe at that point. He was still competing in Europe on the circuit, but now we get to see him on U.S. soil. I, again, really am excited for this head-to-head competition, but even more specifically, I do think this means that Marcell Jacobs is going to be going for a World Indoor title. Now, it's not confirmed, who knows, but I think this is going to bode well for him. One thing to remember about Marcell Jacobs, he has a personal best of 6.41 seconds. That makes him equal number 4 all time in the 60-meter dash. You're talking about all time in history. That 6.41, that barely edged out Christian Coleman in Belgrade, Serbia in 2022. That made him number 4 all time. So it's easy for us to look at him like, oh yeah, he won in 2021, but he didn't do anything after that. Nah, he went on to win the 60-meter gold, and he went on to run extremely fast. And not only that, I think his second best time all time, let me cross-check this here. His second best time all time is 6.45 seconds, if I'm correct, or it might be 6.46. Oh, 6.45 seconds. So he has some strong chops when talking about the 60-meter dash. He's not a slouch. And if he's healthy, if we're talking about coming off essentially his second best 100-meter season of his entire career, only second to the Tokyo Olympic Games, where right after that, he went on to win that 60-meter gold. I think that this bodes very, very well for his potential here. Now, is he going to go to Boston and run, 6.4 in his first race? I don't know about all that. Maybe he could, but wouldn't be surprised if it happened. Maybe 6.49. But I do think that as we kind of progress through the season, getting closer towards, the middle of end of March, going into the World Indoor Championships, he might be able to get back into that 6.41 form, maybe even go a little bit faster. At that point, you're talking about world record territory, right? Maurice Green, former world record holder. Christian Coleman, current world record holder. That's really pushing it. But Marcell Jacobs, he has a lot of talent. The other thing that I think is really important about Jacobs here is, out of the current group of athletes where you have Noah Lyles, you have Fred Curley, you have Marcell Jacobs, you have Christian Coleman. Who else? You have Oblique Seville, Kashane Thompson, even guys like Ferdinand Omanyala, Kenny Benarek, right? All these guys, Oblique Seville, if I didn't mention him, right? Letili Taboho, let me never forget him. All these guys are younger than Marcell Jacobs. All of them. Every single one of them is younger than Marcell Jacobs. He's 30 years old. He'll actually be 31 years old as we kind of go into the 2025 season, or maybe after the very end of the season. And yes, 30 is not old in the grand scheme of things, especially when we're talking about sprinters nowadays. It's not really that old. And some of these guys, like a Fred Curley, he's like 29, or as well as Christian Coleman, he's like 29. But I do think that Marcell Jacobs might realize that his window of opportunity to really get a gold medal in the 100-meter dash outdoors, it may be, not to say it's closing, but it's getting tighter. Where, again, Kashane Thompson is really just getting his career started. He had the fastest time in the world in 2024. He's an Olympic silver medalist. Even someone like Noah Lyles, he's still relatively young. We're talking about, 26, 27 years old. He still has a lot of opportunity. Letili Taboho, literally still in his, 21, 22 years old this year. He's still just getting started. Oblique Seville, just getting started. Kenny B is still like 25. He's essentially just getting started in the 100. A lot of these guys are really going to be stepping things up in the 100-meter dash. So Marcell Jacobs, maybe he's seeing what the field is looking like, and he wants to make sure that he can secure another gold medal, and that might even propel him to give him a little bit more motivation as he goes outdoors. Again, not saying he's 100% going to get a gold medal indoors in the 60, but this might be the play that he's making to prepare himself for the 2025 season. But Marcell Jacobs is just one guy. A couple months ago, last month, a couple weeks ago, we did see that Trayvon Bromell, he actually announced that he is going to be running during the indoor season for 2025. And, he posted on Instagram, he said, "I haven't taken indoor seriously since 2016. 2025, my goal is to make the team and bring back another title. Looking forward to the grind and the challenge. With God, all things is possible, and no man can close the door that God has opened." Huge shout out to Trayvon Bromell, 2016 world indoor champion in the 60-meter dash. He has a personal best of 6.47 seconds, which he ran to get that gold medal. That makes him one of the fastest all time in the 60-meter dash. Actually, it's not even his personal best. Trayvon Bromell's personal best goes back to just 2023. He ran 6.42 seconds at the Clemson indoor meet. I think that was the year that he ran at the New Balance Indoor Grand Prix and didn't do well in that race, and that was actually where Noah Lyles beat him out. He skipped on Milrose, but then went to Clemson. He said he was feeling good. He wanted to get one more meet in, and then he actually ran that time. That makes him number 6 all-time indoors in the 60-meter dash. Now, like he said on his Instagram post, it's been a while since he's run a full indoor season, especially going to the World Indoor Championships. Not only because of, how things kind of played out, 2023, there was no World Indoors, but also because of those injuries. We know that Trayvon Bromell has been dealing with injuries essentially his entire career. He was, young coming out of the NCAA, his sophomore season, 2015. He made it to World Championships, got a bronze medal in the 100-meter dash, qualified to the Olympic Games in 2016 in the 100-meter dash as well, but at the end of that 4x1, running on the anchor, yes, the USA got DQ'd, but Trayvon Bromell got injured at the end of that 4x1. And that kind of that really significantly set his career back from 2016 all the way up until 2020. During the pandemic, he was kind of getting back into things, and then he finally made the team back in 2021. But you're talking about 5 years at that point for him to be able to get back into form, to be competitive with the best in the world. That is a long time. He did make the Olympic team in 2021, wasn't able to make it out of the semifinals in Tokyo, but 2022 got right back on that podium to get a bronze medal at the World Championships in Eugene. But 2023 and 2024, those injuries kind of came back. 2023, I think he had a bone spur that really set him back. He still competed at USA's, and he actually got 6th place in the 100-meter final at USA's. So that was a massive performance for him, considering the injuries that he dealt with. He did get surgery after that, kind of came back at the top of 2024, but I think he had a hamstring injury or some other injury that really set him back and took him out for the rest of the year. So his talent he is one of the most talented 100-meter sprinters that we've ever seen in history, right? We're talking about 10.76 personal best, literally makes him one of the fastest all time, equal with Fred Curley, equal with Christian Coleman. He clearly is one of the best. And if we're talking about a personal best of 6.42 seconds in the 60-meter dash, we're talking about 2016 World Indoor Champion. He clearly is one of the best. And even like I noted with Marcell Jacobs, he's actually a year younger than Marcell Jacobs. So, he still has some time to be able to progress and get back to things. And if he's really going to be taking the indoor season seriously this year, I think, again, this is very similar to Marcell Jacobs, where this might bode well and give him a lot of confidence going into the outdoor season. again, the 100-meter dash is so competitive, but if you can pull out any gleam of confidence to make sure that you can propel yourself to potentially make the team, to potentially get onto the podium outdoors, that's going to be huge when it comes to the outdoor season, right? I think it's going to be a very, very big motivator. But I don't know. I do like the fact that Trayvon Bromell is at least indicating that he's healthy enough to take on the indoor season and really go for a world indoor gold. That's going to be something that I'm really, really looking forward to. So we got Marcell, we got Trayvon. Who else is in the running? So looking at all the 100-meter sprinter guys, right? We're not going to see Oblique Seville. We're not going to see Kashane Thompson. We're not going to see Fred Curley, right? We're not going to see Kenny B. Kenny B doesn't run indoors. And one thing to know about Kenny B, he now trains with Christian Coleman. Christian Coleman, in my opinion, the GOAT of the 60-meter dash. I suspect he's not going to be running the indoor season in 2025. Why? Recently moved down to Dennis Mitchell to train with, again, Kenny B, Courtney Lindsay, Kyrie King, that whole group, Aaron Brown. Dennis Mitchell does not run his athletes indoors. He essentially never runs any of his athletes indoors. Sha'Carri Richardson, Melissa Jefferson, TT Terry, they just don't run indoors. And that's his decision, right? I think that makes perfect sense for him because he's been able to find a lot of success with his athletes despite not running an indoor season. Of course, a lot of coaches have, but I do like the fact that Dennis Mitchell sticks to his guns, he sticks to what works, and he sees that success. I think that Dennis's method of having his athletes only focus on the outdoor season to really plan out his entire season, hey, that works for him, that works for his athletes, but that probably means that Christian Coleman is not going to be competing indoors. And this is going to be the first time in a long time that we're not going to see Christian indoors, not getting to see him go for another indoor title. Again, he's a defending world indoor champion in the 60-meter dash. I don't know. That's definitely going to be missed, but I think it's a good move because Christian definitely, he's working on some new things, new training group, new training style, new environment, everything. It's going to bode well for his outdoor season, but that's one on the chopping block. Noah Lyles. So like I said, Noah Lyles, Marcell Jacobs, they're going to be going head to head at the New Balance Indoor Grand Prix and, in the 60-meter dash. Noah Lyles actually on his live stream a couple weeks ago, about a month ago or so, he actually spoke about running indoors. And let me just play this for you, this little clip.
Shoot, when we go to New York next? Indoor. I'm gonna do like a few meets indoors, maybe like I'm for sure gonna do New York Grand Prix, or not New York Grand Prix, Boston, New Balance Grand Prix. I'm gonna go there, and then I might do Milrose, but to be honest, I can't really see it all that much unless coach is just like, yo, I want you to just like go gun after that 200.
So again, he's kind of breaking down why, he's not sure what he's going to be running indoors. He's going to be running at the New Balance Indoor Grand Prix. He might go to Milrose, but running indoors is going to be a little tricky for Noah Lyles because the World Championships at the end of the year is in September. So he's planning out his season just like every other athlete is. He's planning out his season and seeing how indoor fits in that. It's a little bit different than last year where indoors was, indoors was the beginning of March or so, and then you had the Olympic Games in early August, right? Literally the first week of August. So that gap between World Indoors all the way to the outdoor championships, the Olympic Games in this case, wasn't that massive of a gap. Now you're talking about, yes, an extra, a month and a half. We're talking about September 15th or so, I think, is when the World Championships start in Tokyo. So maybe another month and a half that they're extending out. But I don't know, maybe Noah Lyles is kind of balancing and weighing it out, saying indoors, maybe it's not so worth it this year. Maybe I'll just kind of run one or two meets, get a couple starts in, and then focus my attention outdoors. Noah is an example of someone who indoors has really helped him, where between improving his personal best year after year, going from 6.5s all the way down to 6.4s, and then that translates directly to his 100-meter dash, where he's been able to drop down from 9.85 all the way to 2023, getting down to 9.83, 2024, getting down to 9.79, right? Year after year, he's been making some slow progress in the 100. This is probably another year where he's like, okay, I'm in the mix in the 100. I'll dip my toes indoors in the 60 a couple times, maybe once or twice, but maybe not go all the way to World Indoor Championships. And then I'll just, go outdoors, focus on the 100, focus on the 200. I got the wild card to the World Championships. Let me really dive in and focus there. So I don't know. Maybe some other athletes are going to be making similar decisions to Noah Lyles, but who are those other athletes? We got Marcell, right? We got Trayvon Bromell, someone like Ackeem Blake. Ackeem Blake got the bronze medal at the World Indoor Championships last year behind Christian Coleman and behind Noah Lyles. He ran 6.45 seconds indoors last year. I think he finished second place to Noah Lyles at the New Balance Indoor Grand Prix at that race. He, of course, again, he did get that bronze medal in Glasgow. I think Ackeem Blake actually has a personal best of 6.42 seconds, but this is an outdoor meet from what I remember. Yeah, this was outdoors in Kingston, Jamaica in 2023. A little bit of a win there, right? 0.9. But Ackeem Blake is a very strong 60-meter runner. I don't know if he's actually going to be running the 60 meters indoors, right? He works with Michael Frater as his coach. He trains with Johan Blake as well. And, maybe he'll run the 60, maybe he won't. Maybe, again, long season, he might just focus his attention outdoors. He's one who really needs to be able to pick things up. He's definitely one of the top Jamaicans, but he hasn't made a global final. He made it to the World Championships in 2022, but he only made it to semifinals. Didn't make the team in 2023, and then once again in Paris 2024, made the Olympic team, but he didn't make it out the semifinals. So maybe they're going to adjust some things to really focus in outdoors to see if he can be one to finally make it out to a final. Now, a couple other guys. You do have Ferdinand Omanyala. He got 4th place at the World Indoor Championships last year. Outdoors, I know that it's a little tricky for him where he's never making finals. He did make it in 2023. All due respect, let me shout out Ferdinand Omanyala. But compared to the other guys, it's unfortunate Ferdinand Omanyala just does not have the chops when comparing him against other top 100-meter sprinters. This indoors, if a lot of guys are not competing, and you're talking about he got 4th place at the World Indoor Championships last year, eliminate Christian Coleman, eliminate Noah Lyles, maybe eliminate Ackeem Blake, that moves Ferdinand Omanyala up the ladder, and maybe that gets him his first individual, medal at a global championships. Yes, 60-meter dash. Like I just said, Christian Coleman is a GOAT of the 60-meter dash. I will never diminish a 60 meters. Yes, it's not 100 meters, but listen, this may be a chance for Ferdinand to actually get a medal. But I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, check out the video that I did breaking down the 2025 calendar. World Indoors is coming in the middle of March or end of March. It's going to be all the way in China. So we're not talking about in the UK. We're not talking about in the United States. We're not talking about, somewhere, quote unquote, relatively central for most of the top athletes who are competing in the world. And I say quote unquote because there's athletes who compete in South America. There's athletes who compete from Australia, right? From Asia. So there's a lot of Japanese athletes who actually do very, very well when talking about the 60-meter dash indoors. They'll, of course, have, field day just being able to take a quick flight over to China. But when talking about the rest of the world, some of the top competitors, they might choose to skip the indoor season or skip World Indoors at least because they want to focus all their attention for the outdoor season with the World Championships all the way down in September. But let me know what you think. Just kind of talking through some of the main players in the 60-meter dash and their decision to potentially run indoors. Again, Trayvon Bromell looks like he's confirmed he's going to go for an entire indoor season. Marcell Jacobs looks like he might be dipping his toes. I think he's going to go for the full indoor season, going for the maybe another world indoor title in the 60-meter dash, get that gold medal back. But we'll see. Let me know what you think. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Be back again next time. Thanks for watching, y'all.